Welcome back. What makes a place feel like home? For some people who grew up between cultures or immigrated to the States, the answer isn't always simple. One Denver therapist says the communities we find or create can have a lasting impact on our mental health.
We're the only creatures who need culture to teach us how to be human. And so how rich is that we all have different cultural contexts that feeds into this idea of how we operate in the world.
9 News reporter Courtney Yoon and photojournalist Mark Zoletta shows us the life in between cultures can become a place to create community.
Living in between cultures can be disorienting.
You're hearing Korean sound while looking at American subtitle.
When visitors walk into Sammy Lee's art exhibition, Becoming Motherland at the MCA Denver, they see and hear two versions of the American folk song Moonlight on the Colorado at the same time.
To highlight that in-between space, living in those two cultures.
It's a song that got strangely popular during the 1970s in Korea and is personal to Sammy. She immigrated to the U.S. at age 16.
And I knew that I was never fully American, but I realized that I'm not fully Korean either, right?
For her, that clash between cultures isn't something to fix, but rather a space to create.
Now, just like I'm making home as I go, everyone can resonate, making their home with the traces of other spaces in their life.
Sometimes that space is a recording studio.
I was born and raised in Guam. It's an unincorporated territory of the United States.
Meta Sarmiento has lived in the Denver metro for 10 years.
Growing up in Guam is to live in a contradiction. You're born and raised and taught that you're an American citizen, but most of America has no idea who you are.
In his music,
Never had a silver spoon, just how my mom was worried.
he talks about how his life experiences intersect with the culture he was raised in
If my people gotta fall, let my hands be the rake.
and the realities he faces today.
I'm trying to pile wins to give more than I could take.
He questions where he belongs and why it all matters.
I don't think I've figured out the answer to those questions yet. I don't know if I ever will, but I do know that more and more it feels like I'm belonging in community.
Meta says that sense of belonging is empowering.
I'm not even here to say that this is the right story or this is the correct narrative. I'm here to say this is a story, this is a narrative, and I think you should add it into the stories and multiple narratives that you're juggling.
Meta calls it the danger of a single story, a concept he teaches in his writing workshops.
It's dangerous because it paints an entire population or an entire group in one light. And it erases the complexities and the rich histories that these people actually come from.
Embracing those unique parts of ourselves is something Doris Yoon has never shied away from.
I've never been ashamed to be Chinese, and I've never been scared to say, yes, I'm Chinese. You know, when the opportunity arises to open up my own restaurant, I really wanted to highlight that.
Doris's restaurant, Mac Fam, is decorated with her favorite drinks she grew up with in Hong Kong, Cantonese pop stars, all the things she got made fun of for when she moved to the States as a young girl.
I don't have to defend it. This is just who I am, and if you come into the space and you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay too.
Sometimes when it seems like those in-between spaces don't exist,
We were always going to be unapologetically like who we are.
you've got to make it yourself.
I'm going to continue building for the community and building for my kids.
With photojournalist Mark Zoletta, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
Mac Fam opened in the Baker neighborhood back in 2023. They are both James Beard and Michelin recognized. Sammy Lee's art exhibition at the MCA Denver runs through Sunday, July 5th, and you can see Meta Sarmiento perform at the Underground Music Showcase on July 24th.